That morning, the air felt so fresh, almost cool like dew that had not completely disappeared. Footsteps felt light as they set foot on the ground that was still wet with morning dewdrops. All around, the view of the vast expanse of rice fields stretched out, decorated by the calming green color of the leaves. Each strand of rice moved slowly in the wind, creating gentle waves that flowed like the music of nature, full of tranquility. The sky above was so blue, although there was a little thin mist covering the horizon, giving the impression that this world had just woken up from a long sleep. The sound of trickling water flowing in the irrigation channels provided a calming rhythm. While walking between the rows of rice, footsteps sinking into the soft soil gave rise to a sense of peace that was difficult to describe. The smell of wet soil blends with the fresh scent of plants, creating a calming and soothing scent. The gentle morning breeze brings coolness, as if wiping away all fatigue and complexities of thought. Sometimes, small birds flying low greet us, circling above the rice fields, creating agile and lively movements. In the distance, the figures of farmers are seen working, although not very clear from here. Their presence can be felt as they calmly tend to the fields. The atmosphere is full of a sense of silence that invites us to simply enjoy the moment, to absorb every second that exists. There, in the middle of a wide expanse of rice fields, I saw a farmer standing tall. His sharp eyes looked far away at the rice plants which were starting to turn yellow, a sign that the harvest would soon arrive. However, before that, there are enemies to face. Small birds flew over the rice fields, grabbing the rice that was starting to turn yellow, looking for food happily. Their existence posed a threat to an outcome that was so close. The farmer looked patient, standing in the middle of the field, his hands holding a simple tool used to chase away the birds. Occasionally, he moved the device through the air, making a loud sound that broke the morning silence. The birds fly low, move quickly, but often return again after the sound disappears. Even so, the farmer didn't seem annoyed, he just calmly continued to repeat the movements, as if he was used to the routine. My gaze shifted to the vast rice fields. Beneath my feet, the yellowing rice plants began to shine in the rising sunlight. Amidst the silence, only the sounds of nature could be heard, the wind blowing gently, and the occasional sound of the farmer's tools chasing away birds. There was a kind of calmness in the way he went about his day, as if time was never in a hurry, even though there were tasks to be completed. I noticed how the farmer seemed to be one with the atmosphere. His existence was inseparable from the land on which he stood, from the rice fields that he patiently tended. Every step he took was directed, every movement filled with the calmness created by decades of experience. Every now and then, he glanced up at the vast blue sky, watching the birds flying away, then returned his focus to the increasingly ripe plants. That morning, the atmosphere was so peaceful. Time seemed to move slowly, but meaningfully. I was fascinated by the simplicity and determination of the farmer, who spent his days patiently, waiting for the fruits of his labor to come, while guarding the land and plants that had become part of his life. A silence that can only be understood by those who have been in this kind of silence, a silence full of hope, hard work, and determination. In the midst of the morning silence that permeated the air of the rice fields, I also saw a pair of farmers working quietly on the rice field embankments. They looked so harmonious, moving together, as if they had been sharing every second of this simple life for so long. They were harvesting cassava, a plant that grew slowly, like the steps of their lives that were full of tranquility. The husband's hands pulled out cassava tree trunks in the still damp soil, while the wife, with agile and accustomed movements, gathered the cassava into a large sack. There were no words spoken between them, only the sounds of nature accompanied them. The morning wind whispered softly, carrying the smell of fresh soil, and in the distance, the sound of birds chirping could be heard. They moved slowly, unhurriedly. Each of their steps is planned, even though the sky outside is starting to brighten, indicating the growing day. Behind that simplicity, there is a kind of power in the way they work. Their hands are dirty with soil, faces that are no longer young, but full of pride in the results they plant. Maybe for many people, this work seems ordinary, but for them, this is a part of life that gives meaning. Without excessive words, without noisy sounds, they continue to work, letting silence be their true friend. As if time itself has stopped, giving them space to enjoy small moments full of effort and hope. Every now and then, they look at each other, sharing a simple smile that needs no words. On the quiet rice field embankment, among the remaining rows of cassava plants, I feel like I am witnessing something more than just work. This is about life that goes on without the need for shouting, about hard work that is invisible but so meaningful. About a pair of farmers who carved their days on this land, one cassava seed, one small step, one big hope.